Previously on Screen Share and Chill.
I have forced everybody to watch The Matrix by the Wachowskis.
And now the conclusion.
I want to know what the hell is going on.
My last good is that I love how this movie ends because the whole movie is felt like a mystery thriller, dystopian future kind of movie. Obviously in a sci-fi wrapping and all that stuff. But it ends as a superhero movie. This is an origin story
100%.
for a superhero.
Yep.
It felt very unbreakable to me.
He fucking flies away like Superman. At the
Exactly.
end.
That's why you left the theater in such a powerful mood because you're like, oh my God. And then we all said, we want to see Neo being a superhero in the Matrix. And then we got it and we didn't like it. So this, yeah.
Because we don't know what we want.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and The Matrix tells you that. The actual movie that we just watched told you that if you got what you wanted, you wouldn't fucking believe it and you wouldn't like it anyways. You'd probably... But yeah, even though Unbreakable came after this, now that I've seen these from a more analytical perspective, there's no denying that these movies have a lot in common. They're trying to be a serious drama around the coming of age. It's a Bildungsroman, but with superhero powers involved, like a lot of superhero movies. I mean, every Spider-Man origin story we see is a Bildungsroman, which is just that just means a coming of age, coming to power story.
Thank you for explaining that because I had no idea what you were talking about.
And that's the end of my good.
I have a few more goods that I'll close us out with. The indignity of Agent Smith beating the shit out of Morpheus and then just giving him to the common police folk or whatever to like finish him off. It's such a good, you're saying, okay, Morpheus squaring off against Agent Smith. Oh, he's beating his ass. And then it's just like, he's not even, even worth his time. Yeah, it's fucked up and it makes you feel really bad. But that's a good thing for the movie and the story that we're being told. Mm-hmm. I'm not a person of any sort of devout faith or anything like that, but I love the when Joey Pants is like, if he's the chosen one, then there's a miracle that's going to have to stop me, right? From me unplugging him. And guess what?
Yeah.
Something happens to stop him from unplugging
burn, you son of a bitch.
I love it. It's such another powerful story moment where it acknowledges, you know what I mean? Like it acknowledges itself in doing that.
It's strange that I share your appreciation for this kind of storytelling. And I think I've commented on it before, but I'm a non-religious person. I'm an agnostic atheist. So I'm not exactly real hot on the religious stories that really proclaim God is real and this is what you should do stuff. But I love these stories where a religious person sitting next to me could watch it and see the providence they were promised. And I can look at it and see complete coincidence. And we're both valid from a perspective point of view. That kind of art is brilliant to me because you've given them enough of the religious prophecy that you can believe it and you can see that there is some higher power at work here. A Christian could watch this movie and see, yep, that's God and Jesus saving these people from these robots, and I'm not even trying to say that mockingly. Like a person could genuinely get true meaning out of this that would strengthen their faith. Whereas somebody like me that is not religious, I can find reasoning to strengthen my belief in my beliefs. So
I love that Agent Smith doesn't work for the Matrix, it's revealed, but himself. He's like a rogue program that you get the feeling that he wouldn't probably even care if the Matrix was destroyed as long as he got his way and escaped. He wants out of the Matrix just as much as any human who's become awakened to it does.
What does he want to do when he gets out?
He's sick of being trapped. I don't know. It's just he wants out, and I love that little because he's on Team Matrix, but there's that little extra selfish bent to him.
Yeah,
that makes him a good villain instead of just a piece of a hive mind sort of thing. He's unique. He has his own wants and goals and sort of thing. So
it's
perfect,
consistent with his character later.
Yep. The helicopter sequence is just a phenomenal action sequence. The whole last third of this movie is it feels like it's Terminator 2 has passed the torch to this movie as the next big action movie. Like I feel like it's very Terminator coded in a lot of aspects.
Mm-hmm.
You got miniguns, and when they walk in and shooting all the police at the bottom, I feel like it's almost bordering on homage while not directly lifting scenes. It's just got that same feel as like a blockbuster Terminator movie. And my last good note is, I just love that at the end when he comes back and he flexes so hard that it bends reality. That's fucking cool.
Every kid that grew up on Dragon Ball Z was like, he's going Super Saiyan. Look at it. Look at it. I expected his hair to turn blonde.
Yeah, he squeezes his muscles so hard that like the hallway bends. It's great. It's like a bubble that like ripples all the way through reality.
And we get that same trumpet blare, those two chords.
That triumphant music. Yep.
Yeah.
I had that written down too.
And the E minor C major, they're not exactly dissonant, but there's a little bit of dissonance in there, so it feels like it's a bursting bubble of power ready to I love it's so simple and I love it.
If no one else has any good, I think it's time to talk about bad.
So to clarify, I'm sure we could find a lot more goods, but after over an hour of us rambling about the good, we eventually do have to move on, listeners. Yeah. So if we miss something that is like, oh my God, they forgot the most amazing fact that blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, we probably love it just as much as you do.
We just ran out of paper and ran out of time. So tell us what your thoughts are if you disagree or we missed something.
All we are is dust in the wind, dude.
Like I said, if we discussed every single shot or line or whatever that we loved, it'd be like 3 times the length of the movie.
I have to go back. My main thesis point of the good is that it might be my favorite hero's journey since Star Wars: A New Hope. You have all the beats. You have an older mentor. You have the Luke use the Force moment. It's the classic hero's journey, beat by beat, updated for 1999 or whenever this came out, and it's like the most concise, pleasing version of that, I would say, since New Hope came out. So
wow, so one could say that it took these two amazing genre-defining films and improved on the formula. Yeah. But also, I just think it's high praise, and new listeners to the pod, you might not realize that that's like as high of praise as Keith can possibly give, because Terminator 2 and Star Wars are two of his absolute favorite things in the world. So if he's saying, this reminds me of this, but a little bit better, like that is you bowing down and saying, I'm not worthy to this movie, pretty much. So.
I mean, it's structurally, it's almost a perfect telling of the hero's journey. So I can't, I got to give it props where props due. Now we're free to talk about the bad. So somebody start, because I only have 2 things. There's not too many bad things about this.
I can start with a really esoteric type one.
Okay.
My dogs hate the opening music. They hated it. They were running around the house. They were like looking around. I'm like,
what's happening? Something's happening.
It sounds like a car horn inside the house or something.
Yes, it was insane. It was like pure insanity until they got past the opening music. So that is my very first one. So beware, your dogs may hate this out.
I have a few bads. My first thing is, why do the agents talk to each other? Why does that happen?
For us.
Imagine if you will, I have 2 different AIs connected to each other through LAN cables and stuff like that, and they decide the most efficient form of communication is hook up speakers and a microphone so that I can use English to talk to the other AI. Like, aren't you all connected to the same network? Why are you?
Maybe it's because they have to obey by the rules of what the Matrix scenario simulation is. You know what I mean?
They communicate all the time through their headsets without talking, it seems. Like, they have all kinds of communication they do without talking.
I don't know.
It's for our benefit.
I know. It's like it just doesn't...
Yeah.
I get it. It's for us, the listener. That's the conversation they're having within their heads. But it just, every time I see a robot talking to another robot when they're connected to the same network, the small computer programmer in my mind says that doesn't make any fucking sense. They would just transmit.
Well, they're also, a lot of time, they're also surrounded by regular, normal human being cops. So if they just like opened their mouths and a fucking modem dial-up connection came out, it would be
No, but they wouldn't have to
maybe-
make any noise at all, is what I'm saying. They're already hardwired into the
Okay,
Matrix.
yeah, true.
You know,
True.
like, but anyways, Jamie, give me another one of your bads.
So this one, we've talked before about how I can't like visually make pictures in my mind. I don't, my brain doesn't do that. So the group watching the screens and being able to like see the fight, just, it breaks my brain.
Oh, yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's like you're watching.
Where's the camera?
Right.
There are
Right,
two
you're watching-
levels of disconnect.
Right. You're watching binary just roll down a screen and somehow that translates into this fight that you're, ooh, ah, oh, like, that's a little much for me. And I get that it's probably because my brain doesn't work like other people's brains, but that's a little much for me.
Oh, I'll skip into my bad because what I said about where's the camera is when they're gathered around to watch Neo fight Morpheus in the Matrix.
Yep.
Where's the camera? Like, how did they do that?
They're watching the binary and they know they can picture in their brain from the binary exactly what's happening.
No, there's on the screen. There's the visual of them actually fighting in the little CRT monitor. So, like, where's the camera? I guess you could program
It's a virtual
that into
camera.
the Matrix.
It's a virtual camera. Hey, kid, it ain't that kind of movie.
That leads into my other one of my other only bad notes was Kelly touched on this earlier. I wrote, hard to believe they can't track them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like they don't. I mean, I guess maybe part of it is they have some kind of blocker on their IDs once they've been freed and enter the Matrix. I can headcanon that, but nothing's specifically told you. So if you don't happen to think of that sort of thing, there's no information in the movie to let you know that there's a reason that they can't be tracked or whatever.
Right.
Yeah, it's they might be obscured when they first get into the network, but it wouldn't take long for something to ping something. There are cameras everywhere. There are people everywhere. And if you can see through people's eyes, and you're moving at the speed of AI, which is pretty much the speed of light, you can bounce between all different people and just make a couple more agents. These are literal computer programs. It doesn't actually take physical resources to write another algorithm or just to copy paste. Like that didn't quite make sense to me. But again, it's part of the universe that you have to. And the part of how my mind was trying to rationalize it is there are so many people. There are 9 billion people in this simulation that it's just a law of numbers that they just get lost in the data flow, and it's hard for them to pick out which between. But it also seems like our heroes only do all of their activity in one U.S. city. It's not like they're bouncing from San Francisco to London to Paris to New York or anything. That might have made things a little more interesting because then it becomes a spy thriller throughout using the whole globe as your.
I guess when you have a $63 million budget.
Totally. And it didn't ruin my appreciation of it. This is totally nitpicking after watching it 20 times kind of thing.
My first bad note was the Rob Zombie thing, the Dragula song. Not
why? It's such a good song.
My cup of tea. And it's just it's burn, dig through the ditches and burn through.
You can do that to any White Zombie song. Like, did you not like Twisted Metal 2 and Twisted Metal 3?
I love Twisted Metal 2. Don't get me wrong. But yeah, I don't know. It's just it's a personal preference that I think Rob Zombie by himself is lame, but White Zombie was okay. My last bad is another sort of musical note. Is it's overplayed at the time. It was awesome and absolutely fitting, but when they go bullet time in the lobby at the end and that song starts off, it's like I kind of got to roll my eyes because it's not the movie's fault. It's because it's been so overplayed and overused since then that just hearing it triggers something like cheese is happening in my brain.
It's been used more ironically now than unironically, so it's hard for me to take it seriously when I hear that music. However, the music when he's walking through the Matrix with the red woman scene, that beat in the background, that one still slaps just as fucking hard as it did 25 years ago, whatever this movie came out.
I know Kung Fu.
Show me.
I'm out of bad.
All right, I'll give you a couple of mine.
Go ahead, Kel.
The scene where he's on the top of the building where the phone blows out of his hand, that caused trauma for me. I've always felt like part of the reason why I'm so afraid of heights is you never know if a building is going to sway or if there's going to be a wind gust or something. And seeing that phone blow out of his hand was me, Leo DiCaprio, pointing at the screen going, that's what I'm talking about. That's what's going to happen to me. Nope. And watching it this time, and the fact that, Keith, you had forgotten what happened during this scene. And I found that really interesting.
Yeah, I thought he got away and then got apprehended. I thought he got apprehended once he got outside for some reason. But as we're watching it, I'm like, yep, I'm scared of heights. I could never do this. I would just have to walk back in and get arrested. And I'm like, oh, that's what happened.
Yeah, he did. That's what he did. Same with me, man. I'm watching this movie going, well, if this is the test to become part of their chosen family, then I guess I fail. And then we find out, oh, that's what happened to Thomas Anderson, too.
I'm going to be real honest with you. I wouldn't say that I have a fear of heights necessarily as much as a healthy respect for them, but I wouldn't have been able to do that either. That one I would have walked right back into. Like, yep.
I'm curious what the next part of his plan was. Did he have a helicopter coming to pick him up, or what was?
Right.
You have to walk along the balcony, and then can you at least give me what's steps C, D, and E in this process, so I need informed consent, sir.
I can only assume there was an open window or something somewhere for him.
I think he was hoping that there was an open window somewhere. I don't think it was a really good plan.
And then he's got to dive to the next building, and then he's got to tightrope walk 7 miles.
Yeah. I don't think it was a well thought out plan. It was oh shit, I got to get out of here plan.
Yeah, bro, I could have just given up early. If I knew all they were going to do was take my mouth away for a minute, I would have been fine with it. Speaking of the mouth scene, I find it's in the bad column, but it's more of just like an observation that Thomas Anderson clearly just dead naming this man. And it's something that in the late 90s when this movie came out, it wasn't as big of a deal as it is now. But of course, we do have obviously people that change their names, but also we have in today's world, at least in my area of nerd area, is we have our online name and we have our real life name. Some people don't know me by my real life name. Some people don't know me by my online name. It's like a 50-50 split between my group of friends. Now, if I didn't like my real name, I probably would just go by my online name all the fucking time. So really, like, it's the conversation happening before we had it as a society. And I just find it really strange that people are okay with adapting to these different names for, like, if you have a friend of yours that's named John and he plays Twisted Sinister online, his name is X69 Twisted Sister, then you have no problem calling him Twist online. But calling a trans person by the name that they have chosen for themselves is just way far out there. But so yeah, it's just a big.
Oh yeah, Twisted Sister 69. That's not the name that's on your ID, your state issued ID.
Yeah. The archaeologists of the future won't know that you were a twisted sister. They'll call you Twisted Brother. Ha ha ha. Yeah, Jamie, give me a couple more of your bads.
The bug scene where the bug goes through his belly button.
Oh, okay. I have that in my ugly column because that is fucking terrifying. I have it written down as robot shrimp in belly button.
Yep.
Like no,
robot shrimp in belly button.
It's so disturbing.
If there's one thing that I might have realized from doing this podcast with you guys, it's that I might have a real issue with body horror because that is not okay. And I can see that moving to the ugly real quick. I mean, it's a well done scene. I think that's why I couldn't put it in the ugly. As far as like the effect is great, terrifying.
Well, I found it so upsetting that it's in the ugly column because I would be shrieking, high pitched girl shrieking if I was watching someone put that robot shrimp into my belly button.
I'd probably be high pitched girl screaming if I was watching somebody put that robot shrimp into your belly button too. Like it didn't even have to be mine. That was terrifying.
And let me paint you a picture, if you will, and just give me a little bit of leeway to go down a lane that might not be true at all. But the story goes like this, that you have a trans woman that is in the process of transitioning, and she writes this story where the main character is kind of a non-binary. They don't really conform necessarily to one extreme or the other in gender and the gender spectrum. And they have a scene where this person is held down and something is implanted into their belly against their will, and they have to watch the agents of the government force them carry this entity in their body against their will. And they find a group of free-roaming punks that force this entity out of them So now they can live their life without carrying this parasite in their tummy.
So it's like the Alien movies, is what you're trying to say.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Definitely. For a while, I dated a trans man, and he still had a lot of the body parts that would allow him to get pregnant if things happen that way. And he told me several times that was a huge point of body horror. Like, that was a nightmare that would occur to him, is finding out that he was pregnant. Like the opposite of what he didn't ask for that body, that kind of thing. And watching the scene gives it a little extra oomph if you're looking at it from the point of a government forcing you to have an entity in your body against your will. Huh. All right, give me another bad, Jamie or Keith, either one of you.
I'm out of bad.
My other bad, well, I have a few more, is the birthing goo and tube pulling out, like that whole scene again. Like I said,
it's yucky.
I have issues with weird viscous fluids like that anyways. So the thought of being covered in the goo like that and then having to pull the tube out, nope. That whole thing, that just gave me the ick. Made my skin crawl.
Also, Keanu looks rough with no eyebrows. Most people look rough with no eyebrows, in my opinion.
Did you know that they filmed that last, and they took, he actually waited, 5 weeks between or something like that, and he kind of emaciated himself and shaved off all of his body hair so that he would look so different in those scenes. But,
perfect. Yeah.
Commitment,
awesome.
man.
Yeah.
I was like, how did they do that? Did they actually shave all of his eyebrows off and everything? And yeah, he did it himself.
Nice. Good job, Keanu.
The electric effect that was after dodge this, that's the one effect I have in my bad column. Like, she says dodge this, or he says dodge this, and it's like horribly done. It's so obviously green screen.
Emperor Palpatine lightning.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. When he, after the agent is turning back into the human.
Yeah.
There's all the electrical stuff going over his body. Yeah. She says dodge this, shoots the agent in the head. We have that side scene where it's all in slow motion where the agent is flying off to the side. He lands and turns back into the pilot. And then, he looks like Emperor Palpatine getting shocked at the end of. That was the worst
3. CGI in the entire show. It was just bad. That's it.
Yeah. I mean, for the most part, they did a good job. A couple of my bads in a row. Some of them are small. The cable management on the on the ship.
What a dorky thing. I love it. The dorky thing to like pick out and be like, man, you guys, you need better cable management on the ship you got. That'd be like the first thing you say when they pull you out of the Matrix would be like, geez, guys, you got a cable tie somewhere?
Who does your cable work here? Let's get some color coded zip ties to start off with. Let's do these in groupings.
That's you like fresh out of the
any
goo.
IT guy watching this movie. Any IT watching this movie is looking at going, oh my God, just tell me when the scene's over. I'll look at the screen again.
You still got a towel wrapped around you. You're like, this won't do. This is
Jesus, do you not have any clean RJ45 cables in this fucking joint? What the fuck, man? My thoughts on the lobby scene go similar to yours, Keith, but they go a little bit deeper. I just don't like the lobby scene anymore. Sorry. It's too cheesy. The jumps and the dives they're doing to dodge bullets make no sense. Half the times when the actors are shooting their guns, you can see the gun going off in a direction that is nowhere near a bad guy. And they're just boom, 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 shooting in a circle everywhere they can shoot kind of thing. It just goes on a little bit longer. Maybe it's just because I've seen it mocked so many times. I've watched it so many times, but that was the one scene that I found myself rolling my eyes. And I'm just like, this is the scene that if somebody wants to go, The Matrix is a deeply unserious movie. My point of evidence is this, and they put that scene on. I don't have an argument against it.
For me, it's fine until the that's
so
where
it's fine until the very beginning of the scene.
Well, no. They walk through and they're shooting normal, and that music coincides with them doing the wall tricks and stuff.
Right. Yeah.
There's a good 15, 20 seconds of them just having a shootout with the police. That's really cool. And then
and they're just doing handstands and flips for no reason other than I mean, their style points. Is the Russian judge going to give you an extra degree of difficulty because you killed him on doing a handstand?
Yeah.
We have discovered, and we know now from all the different physics articles written about it, that the human battery premise is stupid and is completely bunk, and it doesn't make any sense. Humans don't make energy out of nothing. We take energy and we use some of it, and some of it gets lost. That's just the law of conservation. You can't conserve all the energy. So humans are actually a net negative when it comes to energy usage. It's just
You don't
the
know their
way life
process,
goes.
man.
Yeah,
You don't know
yeah.
their
So,
process.
but again, it ain't that kind of movie. I ain't that worried about it. You can come up with a different reason why, but it is kind of funny that the entire premise of the Matrix trilogy is not physically valid.
It could be. What if that gel is some kind of superconducting gel, and so just their body heat heats it up enough that you can siphon off energy, so that if you have fields and fields and fields of this stuff, you actually have a net positive.
But what I'm saying is that the amount of energy going in versus the energy coming out is going to be at best net zero, which means no loss. So that means at best it's just a conductor. At most common, it's gonna lose some in the process.
You don't know what that gel's made of. It could be super gel.
Yeah, so I was the Elven gel. It was the Elven gel.
Elven
that
gel.
did it. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
My last bad, and this is just more of like a personal thing, but I wince every time they refer to as the last human settlement and the salvation of humankind is Zion. I'm like, oh,
Right.
You're Zionists.
yeah.
Yeah.
So humans are all Zionists. Okay. I wonder if the Matrix came out in the 40s, if they would be waiting to get back to Berlin. And that's the end of my bad.
All right. I don't think we have any more bads, so it's time to talk about the ugly. I don't have much on the ugly.
I have one, so you all go
I
ahead
have
and go.
none. I have
Oh,
none.
wow,
None?
Jamie with the none. What
I
a
have
good
none.
sign.
I tried so
All right,
hard to
Keith.
come up with something.
I tried hard to find something ugly, and I couldn't. That sounds like a Seinfeld episode. I went on a date with this woman the other night. I tried to find something wrong with her, and you know what, Jerry? I couldn't.
So I had to break up with her. That would be the Seinfeld end.
What are you worried about? Just go out with her again.
For Jerry Seinfeld, the problem was that she wasn't. She was too old. She
wasn't 17.
Right.
As soon as she turned 18.
Right.
But then Leo DiCaprio is like, "Hey, how you doing?"
Yeah.
You got a few more years. You got a few more years, Leo would say.
We already talked about the green screen jump with Trinity. That I had that in my ugly. We talked about the robot shrimp and the belly button. That was my second ugly. My main ugly is the fact that the fucking terrible, awful alt-right chuds have taken red pilled to mean something like the opposite of what this movie
Red
does,
pill is
but I
transitioning.
think-
Red pill is transitioning.
right.
You
Right.
stupid motherfuckers. Red pill is literally transitioning.
Yep.
Yeah.
But I agree with you on that one.
Are you red pilled, bro?
But then again, if these chuds were even in the least bit media literate, they wouldn't be in the position they're in. They'd be a little bit more understanding of people from different perspectives.
Right. It just fits with, right wing is red, left wing is blue.
Yeah,
so-
absolutely.
Simple. I grabbed a red pill. I wear red hat. Me vote. My vote counts as much as yours. Ha ha.
This fit me worldview. Nice. Simple.
Boys have penis. Girls have a vagina.
So yeah, the whole fact that red pilled has been twisted to mean something that it absolutely was not intended for is hurtful, because this is such a great movie and that's such a great concept.
And it's literally a trans person using this as a vehicle to explain their life experience. And you're turning it into you're using it as a reason to cudgel the trans people into living your expected experience for them.
It's like extremely infuriating.
And it's infuriating not just because it's mean-spirited and cruel, but also because it's really fucking dumb. You look really stupid right now, you know.
Yes.
It's playing chess with a pigeon and they're shitting all over the board. That's what it is.
It's undignified and infuriating, and they simply will not ever see it.
Yes.
Do you have friends that like the things that you do? Want to make your friends cooler? Well, then share our podcast with them. If you do not share us with your friends, then I will set myself on fire in your front lawn and cause
Self-immolation.
Yeah, self-immolation. If you don't, that's just the way that I roll.
When we got the note to make this ad campaign a little bit stronger, I don't know, this is, but yeah, I mean, if it gets some listening, I'm down for it.
Research has shown that if you don't share with your friends, then you will be infinitely cooler than your friends, and then your friends will all have to stop hanging out with you and you will be all alone in your house.
That sounds like you're incentivizing them to become cooler by not sharing. So let's.
And after you like and subscribe and you download it and you share with your friends, you probably want to talk about it. Maybe one of the reasons why you listen to us is because maybe you agree with us. Maybe you disagree with us. Maybe you're like, man, that Kelly guy, he sure has a cool sounding voice, but he's got some shitty opinions. Well, feel free to tell me. And one of the ways you can tell us is like, we got a Blue Sky account, we got an Instagram account, we got a Facebook account, Discord server. We're having conversations with everybody every week. You can find us even on YouTube and leave comments there. I don't know if that's the best place to have a civilized conversation, but hey, let's try to be a first. Maybe we have a cordial, wholesome conversation on YouTube. I think that would be pretty cool.
A cordial, wholesome conversation on any social media would probably be a first.
You could maybe happen on Blue Sky.
Maybe. Yeah. Blue Sky is pretty cool.
The legend has it that there are places on the internet where people are just nice to each other and they just enjoy things that they like.
Review us. It doesn't take long to move your thumb around on your phone, because that's probably where you're streaming us from, right? Because it's 2025. Give us that review. 5 stars. It's easy and it costs you nothing. If you actually type some words into your review, we will read it. Say whatever you want to say about us. Curse us.
Whoa. I don't know if that's, I don't know if I agree.
No.
Maybe. There's enough money attached to it, possibly.
This is the contract. You say whatever you want to say within reason in your review, and we'll read it.
Okay. As long as we can say within reason.
Yeah.
We can legally bend that to mean whatever we want at the time. So I like that contract.
We might be fighting over reading some of those reviews if you're like agreeing with, say, Keith on Star Wars movies over Kelly, or, telling Kelly how amazing Lady Hawk is and how everybody else has it wrong.
If you don't agree with me on Star Wars movies, we don't want your review.
Well, most of them I do, but we'll save it for the pod.
Speaking of money, all the ways that you can actually help us out with some money, you could go to Ko-Fi and rent us a movie or force us to watch a movie and review a movie that you want to make us watch.
Yeah. I really want someone to do it.
I can't wait for the first person to do that,
right?
To force us to watch something. I'm curious if it's going to be something serious or if it's going to be something like, haha, fuck you guys, you have to watch Reefer Madness or something.
That's what I hope for. I hope it's something that we absolutely hate and can really tear apart. So please give us that.
If y'all keep making me watch some of these movies, I might have to pay to make you watch something awful.
I guarantee you it's going to be somebody that has a movie that they really like, but they don't tell us that in the message.
Right.
And then we review it and we just fucking shit all over it. And it turns out that
they paid us money for like some kind of weird Dom experience where we
Fin Dom. We could just skip all this and call you names and you just forward us the money. That's fine.
Yeah.
They're going to be like, this is the best movie ever. And we're going to be like, this movie is awful. And we know you made us watch it because it's so awful. And they're going to be crying in the corner.
But you can force us to read a message on the air. We can play a recorded message, again, within reason. If you record something and send it to us for the right amount of money, we will play it on the air. And also, do you have like a small business or a podcast of your own or something like that you'd like to advertise? Well, we can get your message to literal dozens of people.
There are dozens of us.
No joke.
Oh, stop booing. There's nothing wrong with it. There are dozens of us.
Dozens.
Research has shown that those podcasts that don't put ads in their own podcast are 47% less likely to encounter double negativities in 13% of... you know the deal. Thanks for listening. Any other uglies?
That's my only ugly.
All right. Well, I only have one ugly. I do agree with some of your points about the belly button creature and all that stuff being really weird, but those didn't really end up for this movie. I guess I was a little bit more likely to give it a pass, so I didn't count them as bad. I thought they were effective storytelling, which is weird because usually I'm the one that's anti-gore, but they didn't bother me with this. The only ugly I have is that, unfortunately, at the end of this movie, the way that our system works, now I have to watch 2 and 3, and I have to try to understand them. And that is a gargantuan task that I'm sorry I put this on you, friends, that now we have to analyze Matrix 2 and 3.
Yeah.
And 4. Wait, are we not watching 4?
Yeah. And 4. Yeah.
Well, 4... in my experience, 4 wasn't as confusing. I remember
Well, it
coming out of
wasn't.
the theater in 2 and 3 and being like, what?
Right. No, I agree with that.
I came
But
out
I
of
was
4
just
going, that was
confused
pretty
for a minute.
fun. So we're definitely doing all 4 because 4 is
Yeah.
the saving grace at the end. If 2 and 3 are bad, which again we'll get there. We'll give it an honest shake.
That is funny. That is an ugly. That well, now we have to watch 2 and 3.
Right.
I think you might be surprised on a rewatch because I went a few years back when leading up to 4 coming out and rewatched 2 and 3, and I was like, okay, that's not
right,
not
cool.
as bad. Yeah.
Hey, I want to fall in love with those movies for the first time.
The
and I'm ready
second
to.
one is still kind of fucked, but I like the third one a lot more than I initially remember liking.
I do have to say that the reason why I tried so hard to come up with an ugly is just because that's our format. Not so much that I was looking for one, but it's our format. And I'm like, I gotta have an ugly, but I couldn't do it. I just couldn't. But you guys have good esoteric uglies there. I like them.
I dated somebody once years ago that they explained that, and I'm not saying this to even necessarily mock the person. It's just a very interesting side note that they thought of the sex scene in The Matrix 2 as one of the sexiest scenes ever committed to film. And I was
Did you
like,
stop dating that person then? Or was it immediate, or did it take time?
No, I mean, well, eventually, yeah, we're no longer together as far as I know. But I just remember thinking at the time, like 2 things went through my mind. One, if I watch this scene, I'm guaranteed to get laid then. So all I got to do is watch Matrix 2 and I'm guaranteed to get laid. And spoiler, I did not watch it. It was not worth watching Matrix 2.
That's great.
And the second was that, like, I'm surprised that you thought of that as a sex scene. Because for me, when I watched Matrix 2, that scene kind of came out of nowhere. I was like, did we just all of a sudden we're having a rave and a porno? What the fuck happened to the Matrix? You know, but anyway, we'll see when we get there. But yeah, I guess that's my only ugly is that unfortunately now I have to understand and talk about 2 and 3.
Because the first one's it's a perfect little movie. It could be a self-contained story. When I hang up this phone, it's over for you, and like that's the end.
Yep.
We didn't need more. We wanted more. The studio executives wanted more, and they tried to deliver to their best what they thought more would look like.
Yeah,
and
we'll
see how effective that is.
I think I might have explained that in our last episode, but if not, I'm going to say it again. That's part of the question that I'm trying to answer. Did 2 and 3 need to get made? Would this have been a better story with 1 just ending as it is? Because this is a perfect story. We didn't need a 2 and 3 for this. So I'm going to be watching 2 and 3 with new eyes, trying to see if I like it. But also, did we even fucking need this after this brilliant of a start and finish? This was a well bow-tied, closed-off story. So I guess we're kind of giving away spoiler as to what our votes are going to be. But hey, if you've been listening to this song, it's not that big of a surprise.
Now, if you hold this up against A New Hope in that aspect, I think that the 2 sequels to A New Hope absolutely benefited the overall story.
Yes,
they made the story much better. They pole vaulted it to a new level. Whereas 2 and 3 for this one, it feels like did they pull it into the mud? I don't know. We'll see.
But if you look at Terminator 2 versus Terminator 3, it pulled that into the mud.
Same thing. Did we need another movie after 2?
No.
Right.
If the Terminator franchise ended with 2, and then we got all the prequels like Terminator Salvation and shit like that, I think you'd see a culture that is just piping for more Terminator. Everybody would be frothing at the mouth for it. But
Terminator 3 threw cold water on everything. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so those are the good, bad, and the ugly, right?
That's it.
All right, so we are ready to talk about our 3 questions for the movie. And these are the 3 questions that have nothing to do with how we rate it or anything. It's just 3 little interesting questions we ask ourselves. The first of which being, if this movie had a promotional popcorn bucket, what would it look like?
red pill.
It's the pod. It's the pod that you pull Neo out of.
I think it's
so
a
it
red
kind
pill.
of looked like an alien.
It's full of goo.
Those pods were a little bit Giger-esque, right?
Yeah.
Is that just, yeah.
I go with the red pill. Then you're consuming the red pill through the whole movie.
I don't know, maybe just like a patent leather popcorn bucket with zips
like
and
a shiny black leather popcorn bucket.
Yeah, every goth person I know would go to that theater just to get the fucking popcorn bucket. Then can I have the popcorn bucket? Please do not put butter in there. I don't want to clean the butter off of the leather. Thank you. I did that once at a house party and never was the same.
Dirty.
TMI, Cal. TMI.
It's a hollowed out book of simulacrum, whatever, that you open up and your popcorn's in there.
Bold of you to assume that average moviegoer can read. Why do we need subtitles for deaf people and people that are hard of hearing and all the other people that prefer it?
Which one of those is strongest? What do we agree is the popcorn bucket?
Oh, definitely not mine. Mine doesn't make any sense. It would cost so much fucking money. I mean, I want it, but it doesn't make much sense.
I can see the red pill thing. Maybe you get to choose, when you're ordering your popcorn.
It's like a big blown up jujube kind of thing.
Yeah.
And you have to pick either the red or the blue before you go in. And then when you get to that scene, everybody's looking around at each other going, ooh, you picked the blue pill.
Right. I think it's the most marketable.
Yeah, definitely. And it's easy. It sounds easy. I mean, you could even go the next step and make the popcorn bucket out of jujubes, but that's just Dream Kelly talking.
Why do you do this?
Messy.
Yeah,
That's
sticky.
messy.
Yeah. Oh, hell yeah. You just have to
sticky.
get wax paper for it to sit in your lap.
Yeah.
So the second question we ask, and sometimes this could be argued as one of our best questions. I love answering this one. If you were to replace the entire cast of this movie with all Muppets, but keeping one human actor, who would the human be in this movie?
I got two. There's two obvious answers for me.
Okay. What are your two obvious answers?
The one is obviously Keanu Reeves is the human.
Yeah.
And the rest are Muppets.
And him like, whoa.
Right.
Whoa, asking all these questions, trying to figure everything out. Yeah.
But the other, and I think funnier option is Agent Smith is the only human.
That's who I would pick. Agent Smith is 100% my
world
pick.
and these
The
people.
stink.
It's the smell.
yeah. It's like Fozzie Bear tied up in a chair that he's doing that to,
I can't stand it. Hurry up!
It's Trinity coming through.
Yeah. There is one absolutely wrong answer, and it's Trinity, because Miss Piggy was made to play
Absolutely.
Trinity.
Yes.
Oh my god, like I hate replacing Carrie Ann Moss, but my god, Miss Piggy as Trinity and Kermit as Neo is inspired. Like, I thought you were a guy.
Yes.
Most men do.
Yeah, wonderful.
Your Miss Piggy is on
She
point.
flips her hair when she says it, that's
Yes, of course she does.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
yeah.
All right, and our final question is, I'm sorry, I can't stop laughing. I fucking Miss Piggy, like the flying sidekick wearing the Trinity patent leather. Even just Miss Piggy in the patent leather by itself, I'm here for it.
Because you can see how they do it in the Muppet movies. They actually have an actor like in a Miss Piggy suit, like do like a couple of those moves. So you'd see the wire work of her like running along the wall in a like, Miss Piggy suit.
And then the puppet is just formed into a kick and slams into somebody's head. And
Look, I find it hard to believe that that this doesn't exist somewhere. That there is no video of Miss Piggy like spoofing the Matrix, just because it's such a pop culture.
Why
thing.
hasn't there been a
search
Muppets movie where they're fighting against actual like wire fu actors? Because it's wire fu versus wire fu. Then that would make it even.
Right.
What's the guy? What's the little guy's name that the youngest one that they've revived? Mouse. Yeah, that's Gonzo.
Oh yeah.
Because he's the pervert. And the red chicken is what walks past everybody.
Yeah.
It's
the chicken
it's
in the red dress.
Oh my goodness! How did I miss this? The bad. I missed a bad.
What's that?
The bad is the nice guy of Joey Pants being like, "I'm a nice guy. I deserve to be loved by you."
I cared about you first. Like, dude, that didn't matter if she didn't fucking like you. You just get over it.
Right.
And he kills a bunch of people for it. Yeah, the ultimate nice guy. Yeah,
yeah,
we totally missed that. Thanks for bringing down the energy. I was having fun laughing at it. No,
sorry. We can go back to Miss Piggy in wire fu and latex.
No, I'm glad you brought it up because that's absolutely valid. And I was thinking the same thing. I just didn't make it onto my page, so good call.
Yet another Muppet question answer that makes me sad that we actually don't have that to watch and look at because it would be extremely entertaining.
Yeah, even if you did like a 30-minute condensed version or something, like you don't have to do the whole fucking movie. I know that's going to cost a shitload of money, but Jesus Christ, like that would be so brilliant, especially like the Agent Smith as the only human. goddamn, that is hilarious from
Yes.
start to finish. Like you barely even have to change any dialogue. Just give the actual Muppet actors the real script and let them play jazz with it. I'm sure they'll find a way to make every fucking scene hilarious.
Also, we all love Keanu, but especially in this era, he was practically a Muppet already anyway. So it's perfect.
Dick.
Yeah, like that's why replacing Neo with the Muppet or leaving him in, it doesn't make any sense because he's not. That doesn't change.
Right.
That doesn't.
Right.
God bless Keanu. I think he's a wonderful person, and he seems
Yes.
very kind and humble, and he does a lot of good deeds. So, Pod love Keanu, but
Yes.
there's no denying that he's not exactly the powerhouse of the acting force in this movie.
Look,
Right.
banner, Keanu. And it
Yeah,
says,
exactly.
Pod love Keanu. Yeah.
Pod love Keanu.
There is a computer animation Muppets Matrix I will be sending to you guys. It's 3 hours long.
Oh.
So.
What?
But it exists in computer animation.
Well, there you go.
I'm feeling my vacation time as a timer now, and my face is turning red. I hear the planes and the helicopters of Vietnam in the background.
I don't think you want to watch the whole thing, but it's definitely worth scrolling through.
Yeah,
quickly.
I joke, but
Just
that would be fun. Yeah. So the last question of our 3 questions, our 3 random ass questions, is who's your MVP? If you're going to name one thing as the most valuable part or the most valuable person, it can be a person, it can be the actor playing the character, it could be something esoteric like the vibe or the colors, whatever you want. So
For me, it's Hugo Weaving as Agent Smith. What a phenomenal portrayal and character. And we touched on it a little earlier, but he slowly reveals himself to be this unhinged computer program that's obviously malfunctioning and wants to get away from the Matrix, and it's making him behave, probably not even noticeable to himself, but selfishly and human-like, but evil. What he brings to it, the voice, the way he talks, Mr. Anderson, and just all of it. Hugo Weaving as Agent Smith. I think it's a lesser movie without him as the villain.
absolutely. What about you, Jamie?
This might be the hardest time I've ever had on this question because there are so many amazing aspects to this movie. But I'm going to go with the Oracle just because she just makes me feel so comforted and calm in the middle of chaos, which is exactly what she's supposed to do. And so she is my MVP. Go Oracle. Kel?
My MVP is the Wachowskis. They had an idea. They hammered it home to an industry that was reluctant to do something like this over a course of 6 years or something like that. They just wouldn't let it go. They shot they did a pitch to every company they could think of, any executive they could get time with. And when they got the project, even in the least bit greenlit, even before then, they grabbed it by the horns with both hands and they rode that motherfucker exactly where they wanted it to go. This feels like this is a good definition of why auteurs can be a good thing. Auteurs, if people aren't aware, auteurs that term meaning it's kind of like a pretentious almost scene term, that somebody that is so obsessed with a project that they feel like they are the one person, they are the arbiter of what's true or not for that project, and they become a dictator on the set or something like that. And I'm not even saying that the Wachowskis were like that for this, but it feels like their eyes were seeing every perspective on this movie, and it was always done with the okay of why, and you can see why that cohesiveness really makes it a good movie. Spoiler, but yeah, I think the Wachowskis. Honorable mention to the guy that plays Tank, the guy that is the operator for a lot of their missions. He is so fucking likable, and I remember fucking thinking so the first time I watched it, and this time I was like, God damn, he's one of those guys where if he was disappointed in me, I would feel really sad because he seems like he's just got a good, kind heart to him, Just a really, really likable guy. And the actor's infectious happiness kind of just comes off the screen like fireworks.
Sorry to circle back, but a vision just came to me of Statler and Waldorf, the theater Muppet guys, cracking jokes as Trinity, Miss Piggy, and Neo Kermit run past, and then they morph into agents, come after them.
Oh, they morph into agents?
A Muppet
Yeah,
morph.
like
And
after they
one
make
of
their
them-
joke. Yeah.
They both look at each other, and the one says, "You look the same." He goes, "Well, I was always kind of an asshole."
Yeah. Right, yeah.
Those are the 3 questions that we ask before the big question. Because the big question is, when you watch a movie, did you like it? And would you give it a thumbs up?
You really want to do this? Here. Now? Yes. Okay. Okay. Let's do it.
So I was not exactly excited about watching this series. As we know, I was having a bad day, but I still go 100% thumbs up. This movie is amazing.
Yeah, this movie is a classic masterpiece. Thumbs up all the way. It changed cinema. Like, not many movies, you can be hyperbolic and say that about a lot of things, but few things actually followed through on that, and this movie did do that, and it's wonderful. Thumbs up.
Yeah, absolutely. Thumbs up.
Perfect.
This movie is like when Michael Jordan was the top of the world in basketball, and then he went and played baseball. If he would have also become the best in the world at baseball, he would have been what this movie is to different genres. Like, this movie came out and it was immediately one of the best action movies of all time. Some people might consider it the best action movie ever made. It was immediately one of the best science fiction movies ever made. And how do you do that in 2 distinctly different categories, and you blend them together, and neither one got watered down? I don't feel like I wanted more science fiction because it was all action. I didn't feel like I wanted more action because it was too much talking. It was the perfect amount of both, and tension to go along with it. Just masterful, and I'm glad I went back and watched it. I thought I was listing this as one of my favorite movies, and I hadn't really critically watched it in a long time. And going back and watching it, I'm like, yeah, I was right. This movie is fucking incredible, and I'm glad that we got to watch it. So we gave it a perfect rating, and we only took like 2 hours to get there. Look at us.
You've got to admit it. They are getting better.
One of these days we should release an episode. It'll be an hour and 10 minutes, but it'll be all silence. It'll just be the first 30 seconds. Welcome to Screen Share and Chill. My name is Kelly. My name is Keith. My name is Jamie. Today we watched So-and-So. Did you like it? Yep. Nope. All right. Thanks.
Like some movie that we despise, like it'll happen at some point.
Fucking hated it. All right. See you later. Next week.
Here's the good. Nothing. Here's the bad.
Everything.
All of it. Here's the
Just
ugly.
the 3 sound
the whole
effects
movie.
right after each other, one after the other.
Yeah.
So next week we are going to watch The Matrix. What's the next one? Revolutions or Revelations or Resurrections, or I forget which
I
one.
think it's Resurrection and then Revelation.
The Resurrection is the newest
Let's see.
one.
Okay, so no, the next one is Reloaded. We were all wrong.
Uh-huh.
Oh, yes. Yes.
So yes, we're going to watch The Matrix Reloaded. Apparently Neo has shot his wad.
Again, dirty.
He has emptied his magazine into the Matrix, and he has to
Just want you
reload for the next
get a
installment.
tape recorder and record yourself for a whole day, and you'll be surprised at some of the things.
I don't
that
think
you
he
hear.
would be.
There's a 50-50, maybe a little column A, a little column B. But anyways, those are our thoughts on The Matrix. We hope you enjoyed watching it with us, or if you haven't watched it recently, go back and watch it again. I think it's totally worth a fresh look.
Good movie.
Because it holds up real well. And I'm glad I got to talk about it with y'all. But until next week, when we continue the trilogy, the series, we'll call it.
Quadrilogy.
But there was also like other little animated shit too, right? So, yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Anyways, for Screen Share and Chill, I'm Kelly.
I'm Keith.
And I'm Jamie.
Make sure at least once a day you say computer and program just to see if you can get out.
Also, never let a belly button shrimp linger. That's going to be bad for your health.
Why would you do that?
Are there people out there that are letting belly button shrimp? No, never mind.
Look, dude, I'm in Louisiana. This probably is the answer. Probably.
I'm going to call the police. You go ahead, call them. Call anybody you want. They can't do anything to me. Not anymore. And nor can any of you. You go ahead, call them. Call anybody you want. They can't
Pulling out some shrimp. Yep, I guarantee you it's
do
that.
any of you.
On that note, I'll stop recording now.